Hi, everybody. This is Rob from Rewind Video, along with my co-host Bob.
Hello.
We're here today with a mini episode to talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
I wanted to start us off by asking, what is your relationship to the Planet of the Apes franchise coming into this movie?
Okay, so I am very familiar with the three movies that preceded this one, that were part of the modern Planet of the Apes franchise. I had seen those. I enjoyed them. I don't know that I would call them all a good time, but I liked the trilogy, and I was eager to see this one. I do not have much experience with the original Planet of the Apes franchise. I've seen the Tim Burton movie. I do not remember the Tim Burton movie.
Have you seen any of the originals?
Yeah.
The five?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You just don't remember them that well?
I don't remember them.
A lot of
I didn't have I don't know that I saw all five. I might have seen four of them, but yeah, I mean, classic cinema. How can you avoid those? So I've seen them. I think probably I saw them all on TV. Like, they feel like TNT movies to me.
I can see that.
You know?
I actually think I might have seen the first one for the first time in like high school.
Okay.
I think we read the book for sci-fi class. Mm-hmm. And then watched the movie. The movie's very different from the book. They're both good, if I remember the book correctly, which I read it like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I love the franchise's commitment to unwieldy titles, at least. Like, you have the Conquest of, you have the Battle for, the Rise of. There's always like...
Yes.
And they always go with the full Planet of the Apes at the end, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
This one might be the most obnoxious of them all, which bravo to
in
that.
terms of titles, or
in terms of
in
titles,
general?
yeah. Kingdom of the Planet of. I think the only thing that could have made it more obnoxious is to call it the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. But I've seen I know the original, and I've seen a few of the other ones. I actually brought one to the table, I think, right, for franchise fifths.
Oh, you might have. Yes. Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, I think I did.
Yeah,
we should look into this. But the calling card for the original run which was like 68 to 73.
Yeah.
Were these like wild Twilight Zone style endings.
Okay.
You know, Rod Serling actually wrote the first one.
Oh, really?
At least he wrote like the original script for the original movie based on the book, which got rewritten. But like, it was a very Rod Serling ending, you know, like you find the Statue of Liberty at the end. And even like the Tim Burton movie, which is like not very good, but I also think it's not as bad as everyone says it is.
That's probably true.
But it ended with Ape Lincoln, which is like a fucking wild way to end that movie.
Yes.
Which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
None.
But like, I like the franchise because like it's traditionally it takes a lot of swings.
It does.
Like some of the original, like the ending of like the second or third movie is like the humans explode Earth with a nuclear bomb or something.
Oh wow!
Like it's wild. Like there's like this wild shit in some of these movies,
Maybe
and
I
it doesn't
haven't
always
seen
work. But it's you know, they take big swings.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this new one?
I find it very forgettable. What I liked about the first three movies in this modern saga is that they did a good job of developing an emotional connection to the apes, especially Caesar, who is kind of the centerpiece of the modern trilogy, and I was skeptical that would be possible. I mean, the CGI work is incredible. I mean, these look like real apes, and I know Andy Serkis was heavily involved in bringing Caesar to life, but I loved that. Yeah, I really kind of had emotional attachment to their storyline. I did not have that with this movie.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I didn't really care about any of the characters.
Right.
But it's completely functional as an adventure movie, an ape venture movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you're looking for an ape venture, this is this. You know, but like it's fine with that, you know, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
It doesn't like I was saying. I think some of the great things about the Apes franchise is that it has these big sci-fi concepts and like these big ideas and like these crazy endings. And I'm afraid the series has lost its touch when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
And not just this movie, the last three movies, the current saga, if we want to call it that. I think the first three are better than this one. But it doesn't really take any chances. You know, they're very satisfying popcorn movies about monkeys. But there's no like crazy sci-fi concepts. Like I think the idea that like this all started from an Alzheimer's drug or something, Alzheimer's, virus, whatever it is. I think that's a fairly interesting idea, but like that's pretty much it. And then now they're on their fourth movie and they haven't really like done anything else.
Right. And, I find it interesting the way they characterize humanity in these movies. We are not the good guys generally in all three of the modern films that preceded this one. And I would say not the good guys here too. Although
not the bad guys either.
Yeah,
they don't really like take a position. I think that's part of the problem.
I agree. Yeah, I think I prefer these movies when it's more focused on the relationship between humanity and the apes. And this one, it's not that we don't have that, but it absolutely takes a back seat to the ape v ape conflict that is a big part of this story.
I'll say this. The movie is very well paced. I was never bored. It never dragged for me. It was over before I knew it. I was like, oh, that was quick. But it was also just kind of like cotton candy. You're just like, it was fun. And then I forgot it existed.
That's interesting because I found myself... So for anyone who hasn't seen it, we spend the first, 20... maybe 30 minutes of this movie just immersed in the culture of this ape tribe and their traditions and the things they're doing. And
I'm down for that.
As I was watching it, I was like, oh boy, what am I in for here? And I was starting to get to the point where I was like, this needs to pick up but when we got to like the climax, the big third act, and all of the bombastic things that happened, I found myself wishing for more of the the stuff at the beginning where I was just bathing in ape rituals.
Okay, I mean I gotta say like I was satisfied by this movie.
Okay,
but I didn't love it.
Yeah,
I didn't. It's not definitely like it's kind of You're right. It's forgettable. But maybe the gummy I took helped, but I mean, like sitting, like I don't know. I was never bored. I enjoyed it. I just didn't know why I was watching it.
Yeah, I agree with you. So it's not boring, and there's some fun stuff to look at. I mean, the CG is still remarkable in the sense that like it looks like you're watching real animals, but I guess. I didn't love any of the human characters, and I also I think they thrust you into this ape storyline without giving you the chance to really develop a reason to care about the new ape who is at the centerpiece of this. I mean, this takes place generations after Caesar had died. So, like if you're going to give me a heroic ape character, I want to root for him, and I was never really given that chance. I also have to say, and I'm ashamed to say this, but there were a lot of times where I did not know which ape character I was looking at. And, I mean, they a lot of them look the same, and yeah, I
get that. It was close. I think I got it. I think I got it as far as that was concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess the question is the ultimate question of these mini episodes. This movie's still in theaters. Do you recommend people should go see it?
I do not.
I don't recommend it.
I would say it's not that I don't recommend seeing it. I would say this is one that I would watch when it comes to a streaming platform you are already subscribed to.
Yeah.
And you can watch, you've already paid money for whatever it is, and you can watch it for free. I wouldn't go to the theater to see this, and I wouldn't pay to rent it on like iTunes or whatever, or at Rewind Video.
Yeah. I mean, you should definitely rent it from us.
You should. I mean, if you're going to rent it from us.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, not like rush out to see it, but like if you're going to see the movies, going to take the family to go see something. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's satisfying as like an ape movie, like an ape venture. You're gonna go, oh, we got a thing to do. We got to go here and get this done. It satisfies all those. It hits the 3-star threshold for me. I hope that this franchise starts like taking some chances and starts like getting some big ideas into it, because like, I don't know. This is basically like what the Uncharted movie should have been. Like it's just like it's enjoyable enough. The characters are fine. It's not great, but like as far as a day out to the movies, it's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not the worst thing in the world. I do wonder. So I've read that there is a second trilogy planned, that they're going to continue this storyline with 2 more movies. And I just have a hard time believing that there's enough here for me to care about what happens next. It's obviously set up for a sequel. We have things that are in motion that, like, we're supposed to think, well, what's going to happen now? I don't know that I care.
That's the thing, though. Like nowadays, they look at it and they say, "Well, we have enough here to make a story with an Act 1, Act 2, Act 3."
Yeah,
we have characters that can take us from the beginning of a movie to the end of a movie.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what these movies, that's what the Apes movies have become. When like I think like the Apes movies need to be about like crazy ideas, hard sci-fi, and insane Twilight Zone endings. Yeah. And that's not what this franchise is about anymore, and I'd like to see it get back to that. Probably won't, though.
Do you have anything in mind when you ask for this franchise to get back to big swings? Because I have something in mind, but I'm not sure.
What's that? I hadn't put a pitch together, but like I'm curious what you had in mind.
I want to see a movie where the population of apes and the population of humans that are still around are truly working together,
integrated,
living side by side, and just
it's fractured.
Like you go to the grocery store, one cashier is an ape, one cashier is a human being. I want to see them like just integrated, and then something disrupts that.
That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like do something edgy.
Yeah.
Do something that like you make a movie and you're like, we might piss people off with this. Like that's what this franchise needs.
Yes.
It's probably not going to happen because like this movie, I think it made some money. Like I think it was more successful than like The Fall Guy, for instance.
Yeah,
even though it's way less interesting.
Uh-huh.
So that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Yes.
Do that, but they're not going to.
No.
All right, so we're a split decision. You say not recommended. I say recommended.
Yeah.
I'm wishy-washy on my recommendation.
This is going to stay at a 2-star movie for me.
Ooh, 2 stars.
Yeah, 2 stars.
That's a shot. Take a shot.
But yeah, I don't regret seeing it. I just don't want to see it again.
Okay. Well, I think that's a wrap on our thoughts about the kingdom of the planet of the apes.
Yeah.
So be sure to check out our regular episodes every other Thursday and follow us at rewindvideopod.com, and we will see you next time.
We will.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.